that's with it off. So, okay, so I'm going to give you a rundown on the bus. Hey, what's going on, folks? Robert here. So, I'll give you a rundown on the bus. When I come in, the camera is sitting up against the back of the driver's seat. Alright, so you come in on the left-hand side. I'm going to show you the whole table. On the left-hand side, I have my workbench, my welder, everything's underneath the bench that I need to do everything I need to do, whether I'm knife building or creating or manufacturing anything. You got to remember, this is my house and my workshop. So, on the left-hand side, right behind the seats where I carry my tools and stuff and my radio and stuff, there's my electronics is over here on this side too, so that I know exactly where everything's at. It goes to the back to where the silver is, and oh, okay, I'll walk through. So on the left-hand side, when you're coming in, on your right-hand side when I'm talking now, that's my bench, my table. I salvaged that table from Maritime Salvage. It got taken away in a flood from somewheres. I don't know exactly where, but I have a hypothesis about where it came from because of where it was at. The water covered, I bet you if you were to drive around it would be 3, 6, 9. I bet you it was a 10-kilometer chunk of land, so I mean it had to come into the houses that was on the edge of that, or in the flooding. So yeah, anyway, I pulled this out. It took me an hour to cut this out of the alders with nothing but a buck saw and an axe. So you know how much it was tied up in there. So anyway, I got it out of a swamp too. There was nobody going in to get it. So when I got this was free because all it would have did was rot. Anyway, and I got another bench at the same time too. But this here is where I had the stove set up from the other video there when I shot the video on making bread. Got a bench here, my tool set, compressor and stuff is here. Generator. This is where my propane furnace is up and running at. And I got a seat here at the back. A little heater here and a light over here. I'm going to leave it like this for a while. I closed off the back because it's getting to be winter and it's easier to heat the place. I got in trouble. One time last year. They almost gave me a $5,000 fine, eh? Even though you're allowed to have a wood fire here without any penalties, because they said the fire was unsafe when I had a wood stove that I had made in the bus. The municipality come by and he says, basically, well, no, this is exactly what he said to me. This is his quote. He said, I'm just going to give you the $5,000 fine and you can figure it out in the courts. That's exactly what he said to me. So I took the 2 liters of water, I had there and dumped on the fire while he was standing here, and I'm like, okay, no problem. Put a pair of gloves on, took off the stovepipe and carried the stove outside and set it out in the front lawn and told him, you know what, get the fuck off my bus. I said, you know, next time I said, I'm going to tell you not to come on my property and put up a no trespassing sign. I said, you're going to have to get the police to come. So he said, if you do that, it's not going to be good for you. So he's been here 3 times. The next time he comes here, I'm going to tell him to go pound sand. Anyway, because them people piss me off for nothing. So, put propane in. Not a damn thing they can do about propane because it's not, the element that goes out for the propane doesn't create heat. So, you can't say nothing. Cheers to ingenuity. Anyway, I'm going to get another drink and forget about the municipality because they're all dicks. Got $5,000 fine. And the thing is, it would have cost me with a lawyer. It might have cost me probably $3,000. I bet you it would have cost me. Yeah, it would cost me every bit of $3,000 to. I mean, they want $1,500 just to go talk to them. So, $3,000 ain't too steep. And I hate it when people of authority do that. I hate it when they do that. Because they know you got no money. So, what else you gonna do? That's why, that's one of the reasons why I do what I do. Because, one of these days I'm just gonna get ugly and say, that's it. I ain't paying your fine, ain't paying your rent, ain't paying your water bills, ain't paying nothing. And just move off to someplace that's off-grid. kids are almost grown, man. They got another like 7 years maximum. 7 years maximum. Definitely ain't no longer than that. It might even be sooner than that too. People say, what's it do? You know, what do you got to do to go off grid? What do you got to do? What do you got to do? Well, people ask me all the time. It's not the life for anybody and everybody. And like I said before to people, I said, if you want to test, if you're able to live off grid, live out of a tent for a month. Do it for 2 weeks. 14 days. And I mean, completely self-sufficient out of the tent. Not ever going back to your house. I mean, and you don't have to live beside a river in the woods. You can live out of your tent anywheres. And I mean, people say about getting clean and you know, well, you can still be clean. I mean, you can have a bath, for God's sake. You can bath in a basin. You know, you can bath at the river. It costs, like the pools around here, you can go for an evening swim at the pool at 6:30 and it costs you, like even the really nice places, because there's like 3 or 4 pools in and around this area within a, you know, 15-kilometer radius or 20-kilometer radius. And you can go to a pool and go for a swim for $5, $3. There's places that have Tim Hortons swims that, you know, it's a family swim, but you still have access to the showers and the soap. So, I mean, you just got to drive there. And I mean, if you're living out of a tent, you're going to have a car, right? Even if you only got a bicycle, right? Live out of your car for 2 weeks. It's fun, just like camping. If you've ever done any amount of camping or not, and I mean, you can live out of your car anywheres. You know, we came from a nomadic society and put everybody in buildings and houses, and you know, well, I mean, my ancestry was nomadic, and I mean, if you go back far enough, even early Europeans, they're a nomadic race. We've all come from a nomadic race. Everybody, you know, you went wherever the food was. So, you know, that could have been 6,000 years ago if you go by the Bible, but I mean, you know, people have been living in houses and huts. It's just easier to do trade when you build a village. Now I'm just rambling. Yeah. So, but yeah, if you want to know if you could do it, like I said, live out of a tent. Do it for a week. I mean, even 7 days is good for you. 7 days. Go a 2-day trip. Go a 3-day trip. I mean, to give you a rough estimate what it is. You know what it is to be able to live out of your car. Oh, I got visitors. Shut the camera off there, lady. I'm just talking to the camera. You come on in and sit down and talk too if you want.
Did it stop? No.